All, and it's by Rich Mullins. And it says, "It's not going to matter if you have a few scars. It'll matter if you didn't live." And for the longest time, that was a hard quote, a hard concept for me to understand. And as I started understanding it more, it started making sense to me. And let me share just a little bit of what that means. It talks about it's not going to matter if you have a few scars. It'll matter if you didn't live. When we have a scar is a wound that has been healed, but it doesn't get to being healed unless it gets some attention. Excuse me. So when we are wounded, life has a lot of wounds. Maybe there's been a divorce. Maybe there's been some kind of disappointment. Maybe you've experienced loss of a child or a parent or a sibling or another loved one, an aunt and uncle, some other family member, loss of a job. There can be so many different ways that we are wounded. Rejection, maybe not getting that raise, not getting the job, anything like that. Leaving school and not finishing what we thought we could complete. Anything like that can leave us wounded in one way or another. But the question becomes, what do we do with that? If all we do is mask that wound, mask the hurt, put on that stiff upper lip and make it, oh, I'm good, I'm all right, it didn't bother me. And yet inside, it's really starting to bother you. It's like having a cut on your hand. And unless you clean out the wound and apply some antiseptic to it and keep treating it, you run the risk of having gangrene develop over time with an infection. The same thing can happen with any of our emotional wounds of life. So if we have something that has happened to us and we have not dealt with it appropriately, not dealt with it completely, then over time that's going to start eating away at us, and it's going to become an inner infection. And until we take those first steps of healing and start addressing the problem, it's not going to change. A scar is a wound that has been healed. When you cut yourself, the first step to taking care of that is telling somebody else, or at least acknowledging it to yourself, that, hey, there's a problem here and it needs some attention and I need to do something about it. Or if you cut yourself too deep and you need stitches, you're telling somebody else, you're inviting them into your life to give them an opportunity to treat that wound so that it can become a scar. The same thing happens when we are having emotional wounds from life. Until we take that first step and tell somebody, nobody else can help us. I am really excited that next Tuesday, January 16th, I'm part of an international anthology called Breaking the Silence: Voices of Survivors. And it is 20 invited authors who are sharing their stories, who are taking that first step of healing for themselves, that at some point in time, they have shared that story. For some of them, it might be the first time they're sharing their story, but yet they're taking that first step. They're inviting others in. And our desire for this book is to get it into the hands of as many people as possible to give them hope so they can see a wide variety of life wounds. And yet people have taken the hard step, chosen the hard path of healing so that those wounds can become scars that become a story of hope for others. I'm excited to be part of it. I'll be sharing more throughout the next few days in different lives, different images on Facebook and Instagram as well. In the message, in the comments, I'll go ahead and have the pre-order link. There's no money exchange at this point in time. You're simply signing up to get word as soon as that book is available next Tuesday, January 16th. We would love for you to purchase it between noon and 3 Eastern time, which I believe is 9 to noon Pacific time. We are doing a bestseller push at that point in time because our desire, again, is to get this book into as many people's hands as possible. And if we can achieve bestseller, that helps us do that all the more. Be happy to answer any questions. Go ahead and put them in the chat. Message me if you like, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks.